Do you have old black residue that's been building up on your frying pan? Don't worry, it's rather easy to remove. Start by putting a bit of toothpaste onto the pan and rub it over the residue using a sponge. Let sit for 5-7 minutes. Now rub off the black residue using the rough side of the sponge, rinsing the sponge with water every so often. One way we can separate egg whites from the yolk is to rub your fingers with a freshly cut clove of garlic. Now we can easily pick up the yolk with our fingers and no garlic smell will be left behind. Here is a great way to clean cutlery. Place pieces of aluminum foil into a large bowl, and 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Fill the bowl with hot water and drop in the spoons, forks, knives, and everything that needs to be cleaned. The magic will happen right before your eyes. Removing cake from a baking tray, especially when it's not lined with parchment paper or oil, can be tricky. But here is an easy solution. Taking the cake out of the oven, place it on a towel soaked in cold water. Wrap the cake with the second same wet towel. Let sit for 7 or 10 minutes. Remove the detachable spring from a cake pan. Our cake has come out cleanly and in one piece. If you need to pour jam or sauce into jars, using a funnel with a wide mouth is very convenient. If you don't have one available, you can use the tray that comes with meat grinder to save the day. We'll pour our hot, fresh zucchini dip into a hot, sterilized jar and twist it shut using a sterilized lid. Secure the lid tightly and leave the jar right side up to cool. Usually these types of lids have a test button in the middle. If you press it, you will hear a click. Inside each lid, there is a ring that expands when it's hot and provides a tight fit to the jar. While the contents of the jar are hot, you will hear a click, but as soon as it cools down completely, a vacuum will form inside and the bottom will be sucked in, and there will be no click. This means the jar has been sealed correctly. Sometimes plastic packaging can be difficult to open if they have special notches. Here is a quick life hack. Using 2 coins, place one on top and other on the bottom. Push the upper coins down and pull the lower coin up. Our packaging now opens easily. We can use a paper towel as a filter for tea and coffee. Here you can see tea leaves do not fall into the cup of tea. In a similar fashion, you can strain freshly brewed coffee. To keep sliced sausage fresh for longer, we can use a slice of carrot that is about the same diameter and pin it to the end of the sausage with toothpicks. To clean off the black residue from our electric grill, we can take a paper towel, soak it in vinegar and close the grill and let sit for 10 minutes. Then it becomes easily wipe off all of the residue from both sides of the grill using the same towel. No need for special equipment to vacuum seal our produce. Start by placing the vegetables in a Ziploc bag and immerse the plastic bag into ice water. The air will gradually come out of the plastic bag. Now we can seal the bag and take it out of the water. All finished. Did you accidentally buy caviar a few days too early before your guests arrive? No worries, it's an easy fix. Spoon the caviar into small containers with lids that seal well. For extra reliability, we can wrap the containers with masking tape. Place in the freezer. Now when the guests come over, you can just pop them in the freezer and they will be ready to serve in just a few hours. Trying to pass apple puree through a fine sieve? Instead of using a spoon, try using a whisk. This method is both faster and easier. Another way to use a vegetable peeler is to place it on top of a bowl and crack an egg over the top to separate the egg white from the yolk. The holidays are just around the corner. Here is an idea to give your holidays dishes an interesting presentation. Start by taking a sheet of rice paper and coating it with diluted soy sauce, 1 part water and 1 part soy sauce. Place an appropriate sized cup upside down with a piece of parchment paper on top. Press the parchment paper down so it forms to the sides of the cup. Place the soaked rice paper on top of the parchment paper. We can also use rice paper that is coated with water and sprinkled with spices. Here we're using smoked paprika, dried garlic, and basil. Place the rice paper over another parchment paper cup, prepared in the same way. Place the rice paper in the preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 5 or 6 minutes. During this time, the rice paper will dry out but retain its shape. Now we have interesting edible plates to serve. This will give fruits and salads a very unique presentation. And of course, we can decorate our desserts using a rice paper that hasn't been prepared with any savory spices or flavors. When you need freshly squeezed lemon juice and only sliced lemon is available, you can use 2 chopsticks and twist. To eliminate the unpleasant odor from dishes, especially jars and cans, we can use mustard powder. I use mustard powder and hot water. Screw in the lid and shake the jar. Then wash thoroughly with soap and water. Here is another idea of decorative dishes for holidays. No need to buy pastry shells. Take a thin tortilla and cut it into small rectangles. Roll each rectangle into a little cone. Pin with a toothpick to keep it from unraveling. Place all the cones on a baking sheet and toast them preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for no more than 2-3 minutes. Remove the toothpicks. Fill the cones with cream cheese and caviar. Salads can be served in the same way if we choose to make our cones larger. Our mini appetizers are sure to please our guests. Many people love to share photos on social media, especially of food. For a more spectacular photo, take a picture with the phone upside down for a better angle. To make sure that our chicory has no start, we can dissolve a very small amount of the chicory in warm water. Then add 2-3 drops of iodine. If the color hasn't changed, the chicory is good quality. If there are purple streaks, it means there is starch in the chicory.